Welcome, universal beings, to Goddess Business Unleashed, the podcast. My name is Sky Hanley, alignment coach and Goddess Business mentor. Hell yeah. I spent far too long trying to fit myself into other people's boxes of what a business should look like until I realized that I needed to align with the fully expressed version of myself. No more hiding. And I realized that there was another way. I stopped playing by other people's rules, I stopped toning myself down to make others comfortable, and I chose courage above all else to expand my own existence. Now, I am a badass spiritual entrepreneur, bringing the best of both worlds to business, strategy that is soul aligned. It's time to be wealthy as fuck. It's time to make impact and income at the same time, and it's time to create the fuck yes life you so deserve. Stop squashing yourself, gorgeous. Play full out in the radiance of your own sparkle. Goddess Business Unleashed, the podcast. Strategy that is soul aligned. All right, let's jump into today's juicy podcast, which is all about having a millionaire mindset. Now, look, we're all friends here, so I know that we can sort of use a different type of phrase if we'd like. We can go with higher self. This is basically all about having a higher self mindset. But really, you can interchange whatever word you want here. Millionaire you, higher self mindset. You could also say subconscious mind, or, any of those different sort of variations, soul even, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, no worries, go with that. I'm probably going to go with the word higher self today. But as I said, interchange whatever it is that you need. So we are here to talk about the millionaire you, the higher self mindset, that you could possibly have, your future self, right? If you could bring everything from your future self, into the now, what is it that would look like? So basically, I'm going to go through a whole bunch of questions today, and I really want you to sort of sit there and have a bit of a think about it. See if you can either answer them in your head, or obviously, this is your invitation to go grab your journal, have a pen ready and just sort of write some things out. And if you are chill and, listening to this podcast at home and you've got your journal in front of you, again, you're more than welcome to pause in between questions, just so you've got that little bit of extra time. But as I said, at the bare minimum, just have a little bit of an answer as we go along and feel into these questions, all right? And see how they align with you. It's also really interesting if you do feel a little bit triggered. Hi, how's it going? I'm an alignment coach. I'm probably going to trigger you on the odd occasion. That's cool. I'm cool with that. Are you cool with that too? So there might be a couple of questions today that, that do trigger you a little bit, but look, just go with it and be the observer. All right. And what I mean by be the observer is to just sit back and maybe, we don't always have to go down the rabbit hole with our triggers. We can sort of feel those triggers, and yes, they come up, and yes, we should, pay tribute to the different feelings, that do arise for us at different times. However, we don't always have to go down the rabbit hole of it. So I almost implore you to do that today, right? If you do feel a little triggered, or if anything comes up for you, just explore it. See what that means. See what it is about what I said, or, the words that I used, or the thinking processes that have come up that, that are sitting there in a place of trigger or concern or challenge or problem or whatever, again, word you want to use, all right? What is the underlying emotion that is sitting there for you? Alrighty. So look, we are going to jump straight in, as I said, because there's, so many amazing questions that I want to throw your way. There's about 14, to be honest with you. I had a little count just to double check. But yeah, so sit back, relax, and, allow your brain to sort of tick over and see if we can kind of sit into this space of millionaire you, of soul, of higher self, of future self, subconscious mind. Interchange your word here. Alrighty, let's jump in. So first question that I want to ask you is, how would the higher version of you show up into the now? Right? Like if you were showing up right now as the highest version of yourself, what would that look like to you? All right. That's a different way of asking the same question. What would that look like to you? If you were showing up as the highest version of yourself right now, what would that look like to you? And just have a bit of a think. It could be related to business. It could be related to life. It can be related to a relationship, because let's face it, everything is a mirror of everything. So, if something's maybe going on in your life or your business or your relationship, it could be showing up in other places as well. So how would the highest version of yourself be showing up into the now? What would that look like? What would you be doing? What wouldn't you be doing? Who would you be hanging out with? Who wouldn't you be hanging out with? Would you have maybe a morning ritual? Would you maybe have a nighttime ritual? Would you maybe have both? Would you have neither? Would you sleep in? If it was the highest version of you showing up from a place of joy and fun and play, of inspiration, of creativity, what would that look like to you if you were showing up as that person now? Alrighty, question number 2. If I was showing up as this person now, what would my beliefs be around money, sales, business, life, relationships? Maybe even if you were showing up as your higher self now, what would they look like? Would you be showing up more, showing up more in things like social media, on video? Maybe you'd have your own podcast or something like that. What would that look like to you? And what would your beliefs be around things like money, sales, and business? If you were your highest version of yourself, do you think you would think you're worthy, that you are enough, that you are safe, that you are loved? What would your mindsets be around those things if you were showing up as the highest version of yourself in the now? And to be honest with you, it's really like, honestly, we could sit here and unpack an entire podcast on money alone, right? And to be honest with you, we probably will at some point in time, because we have so many, scarcity stories and limiting beliefs when it comes to money to begin with, patterns that have been handed down, from our parents, or, beliefs that we've adopted that aren't actually even our own, fear that is out there, in the ecosystem and all the rest of it. So if you were showing up as the highest version of yourself right now, what would you believe to be true around things like money? Money comes to me freely and easily and in abundant amounts. That is written literally above my head right now. I'm here in my office at home, which is amazing, and I fill my space with empowering, aligned, inspirational things like that. Money comes to me freely and easily and in abundant amounts. I believe that to be true because I live in an abundant universe, not a chaotic one, right? What would your beliefs be around things like sales? Sales is just an exchange of energy. Somebody has a problem, that you have a solution for. Hell yes to that, my friend. What would your beliefs be around business and life and relationships? What would your beliefs be around yourself? That you need to hustle, or that, you get to work with grace, flow, and ease? You let me know, you write it down, or whatever you want to do there. Have a bit of a think. All right, next question. What distractions do I need to remove in order to be in super flow, aligned with my highest self? So super flow, right? Super flow is where you are calm, you are creative, money comes to you freely and easily and in abundant amounts. So do ideas, so does inspiration. Opportunities fall in your lap because you are open to see the amazingness of the opportunities that are out there. So to see those opportunities, to be in a state of super flow, to allow, almost like the channeling of, I said almost like, let me change that. To allow the channeling of ideas to drop in from the universe, right? That is what superflow is about. What distractions do you need to remove in your life? What does that look like to you? I'm trying to think of my own life. I know I've had to do this a few times. And to be honest with you, let me get super real, right? I am a closet nerd, as I struggle to tell you that, but that is my truth. That is my alignment, right? I am the biggest extroverted nerd you will probably ever meet. And, that means that, I love things that are like, spaceships exploding and aliens and all sorts of amazing things. And on the odd occasion, I might play a bit of a computer game or something like that. Bear with me, all right, everyone. Hopefully I'm not losing you here. But I had to give some of that up, absolutely, because to be in super flow, I needed to have my head out of a computer. I couldn't have a day where I was, working and serving and loving on people and, my face in my phone and connecting and all the things that I enjoy, and to show up from, in that place, in my space of genius, serving others, like what a fucking honor. And then, spend a night with like a face in my phone as well, or on the TV, or playing a game or whatever it might be. So for me, it was like, oh my gosh, to be in super flow, I need to calm my nervous system. I need to remove distractions. I need to allow my brain to reset and to align, and I needed to add, let me tell you, more aligned calming practices, things like meditation and even goddess evenings to myself where I can light some candles and roll around on the floor and head off into the quantum in my mind and and be the visionary that I am. But to do that, I had to create the time and space to be able to do that. That is, to come from a place of super flow. So what distractions, if you're still here listening to me and you're not judging me based on my nerdism, that's cool. We're all friends here, remember? Then, what is it for you though? If that's my thing, what is it for you? What distractions do you personally need to remove? All right. So that you can show up as your higher self in the now. Next question, who am I choosing to no longer tolerate? Excuse me, what am I choosing to no longer tolerate? What am I choosing to no longer tolerate moving forward? All right, is it people? Is it behaviors? Is it beliefs? Is it distractions? Maybe it's I choose to no longer tolerate, scrolling for hours on social media, pissing time away. And I know so many, business owners who do that. Maybe what you no longer tolerate is, in fact, comparison. Maybe that's what you no longer tolerate, right? So, just have a bit of a think. What am I choosing to no longer tolerate moving forward? So from now, if you were showing up as the highest version of yourself, maybe there are people in your life that you're like, you know what? I'm no longer going to tolerate that level of conversation with that person. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, I'm sure that, I said I might trigger you, is that, that could be in the realm, right? I know, again, in my own life, there are definitely conversations, that I won't even have with particular family members because it's too triggering to have them. I want a safe space where I get to be the visionary and get to share of my, experience and my love and the universe and all the different things and celebrate. So if there are family and friends that maybe can't celebrate in that, at that level with you, perhaps you need to just not tolerate, that level of conversation. Does that make sense? So what am I choosing to no longer tolerate moving forward? People, behaviors, self, habits, all sorts of different things. Question, what would my mindset be like? What would your mindset be like? Would you have a mindset that maybe that everything is happening to you, not for you? Or would you have a mindset that everything is happening for you? Everything, like the entire universe is conspiring to give you the success and the abundance that you are after. And every challenge in life is an opportunity for growth. Does that sound like a higher self mindset that maybe would be worth adopting if you're not there already? But what mindsets, what would your mindset be like rather, if you were showing up as your higher self right now? Maybe solution focused, not problem focused, and all those other things that we just discussed. How would I be spending my time to ensure I get results? How would I be spending my time to ensure that I get results? It's really funny. I was actually having a conversation with another amazing being, this morning, and we were laughing and almost like triggering each other. Gosh, triggering seems to be the theme of today. Sure, no worries. Let's go with that. And we were honestly triggering each other, but in a playful way because we were bouncing, as another coach that I know, and we, like for me, I'm a doer. Like I am a doer. I do all over myself all the time, right? Like I want to get this done and I do that and all sorts of different things, right? And she is, a lot more relaxed, laid back to a point that it can become problematic for her. And, full disclosure, as I said, I do and lean into things all the time. And so I have to be very mindful to not outdo myself. Does that make sense? And step into a place of burnout or something like that. So we were having this conversation this morning. It was quite funny, and a little bit triggering, let me tell you, because, to me, to ensure results, I need to do, like, what is it that I can do? What can I find a solution for? How can I create more time and space? Because, again, creating time and space and allowing channeling and flow in my mind, thank God, is still doing something, right? And for her, she was sort of a bit stuck in a place where she's not getting results at the moment because the chilled out feminine energy in her, was starting to become a little bit too, we'll go with the word misaligned, right? Like we need to embody both the masculine and the feminine. For me, the lesson is to bring in more feminine. And for her, the lesson is to bring in more masculine, right? So how would you be spending your time to ensure your results? Do you need to sit more into the feminine and be more, relaxed and allow the channeling of ideas and clarity? Let's go science here for a second, right? 40%, our clarity of thinking is reduced by 40% when we are coming from a place of fight, flight, scarcity, burnout, any of those things. You are 40% dumber, like let's dumb it down, right? You are 40% dumber, less clarity of thinking if we're always in busyness, if we're always in hustle. All righty. So if you want to ensure your results, maybe, you're a bit like me and outdo yourself sometimes, right? And so you need to calm things down and slow it down, bring in more of that feminine energy. Or perhaps if you are, you do sit too much in the, off in the ether or the quantum or, the out in the universe and fluffing about and never actually quite getting anything done. Maybe it's time to take big motherfucking action and step yourself forward, embody more masculine. All righty. So how would you be spending your time to ensure you got results? What does that look like for you? How would this version of yourself, the higher version of yourself, be supported? All righty. And again, I'm sitting here and I love to use myself as a bit of an example because it's easy. And so that you guys can kind of lean in and see how some of these things could be showing up, in an existence or how they may or may not be showing up for you. So how would this version of ourselves, the higher version of ourselves, be supported? Now, let me tell you, originally in my business, I found it a little bit hard to, I'm a bit of a solopreneur, that kind of a thing. And thinking of, oh my gosh, outsourcing or, maybe getting myself a VA or team, or how can I trust people and control? And oh my gosh, they've got my Facebook passwords and, all this different stuff, right? Like a lot can come up for us. Do you have a little bit, as an identity or a subconscious identity, do you have a little bit of the, the control freak there in you, right? And so if we are showing up as the highest version of ourselves, if we are somebody who is genuine about growing and scaling our business, let's talk strategy, right? Strategy that is soul aligned, then you understand, it takes a village, right? That you need to outsource, that you need to delegate tasks and have some non-negotiable me time, right? To chill the fuck out. Maybe you need to get yourself a VA or extra team members, not staff. That's a conversation for another day. We don't want staff. We want team. Team see the vision that you see and they are freaking on board with it 100%, right? Team are people who would work for free. Not that that is expected of them, but team are people who would work for free because they see the vision and they are totally bought into your mission, on this planet. All righty. So how would you be supported if you were showing up as the highest version of yourself? And again, maybe you're not at the stage of inviting in team to your, into your business. That's cool too. So how in life could you be more supported so that you could sit in a place of genius, in a place of, fun and play and joy and flow? What would that look like to you? How can you be supported? How would you be spending your time? All right. Like, how would you be spending your time? And, as a follow on from that, who would you be spending your time with? Right? Would you be just sitting around on your butt doing nothing, like the non-doers? Oh my gosh, triggered, right? Or would you be spending your time with high vibing individuals, plugging into amazing places like this podcast? Or, I run a whole batch of programs, Goddess Business School. Would you be plugged into a place like that where you're going to spend time with other high vibers who, rate frequency, who, having conversations about things like strategy that is soul aligned, or would you be, gosh, who knows, down the pub with the complainers and the victims and the news watchers and, having a bit of a rant about the government or the pothole down the road that's annoying you or whatever. I don't even know, right? It's like, what do you think? If you were the highest version of yourself, how would you be spending your time and who would you be spending your time with? There is an amazing quote that says that we are the sum of the 5 people that we hang out with the most, right? So you need to make sure and actively make a choice to invite in some next level fuck yes beings into your existence so that you can have up-leveled conversations, so that you can share of dreams and visions and, and grow and opportunity and all that sort of amazing magical stuff together, right? So that we can be inspired in every single day and through inspiring people. And I'm sure that, I don't even know why I'm using the example down the pub. I'm just going to assume that resonates with someone today, right? That, is that where the inspiration happens? I don't know. Maybe it is for you, maybe it's not. But if we want to have, a goddess business, then yeah, we want to spend our time with other fuck yes goddess business owners, right? Because, there's an amazing Brene Brown saying as well that's, I'm going to bastardize it here. Excuse me for a second. But, the idea is do not take advice from people who are not in the arena with you, right? Like they do not get a say. So spend time with people who are in the arena with you, who are running, aligned goddess businesses, who are doing the do every single day, who are showing up, who are inspiring, who are taking action, who are supporting, who are falling on their ass. And at the same time, picking their fucking crown up, dusting it off and putting it back on their heads and getting on with it. Is that who you'd like to be spending time with? So what would I be attracting into my business? All right. What do I want to attract into my business? Who do I want to attract into my business? And who do you need to become to attract those people in? All right. What would that look like to you? Again, we just talked about inspiring people. Maybe, you need that, you need mentors or peers or something like that. Maybe you need to invite in team. Maybe you need to, listen to my podcast, around Soul Tribe. Because let me tell you, we want to invite in Soul Tribe, and Soul Tribe, your soul client avatar is like your 100% absolute match. If you could only work with one person every single day for the rest of your life, that is who they would be, right? Who does your soul tribe look like? And how do we attract in more of that ideal client into your life? And who do you need to become, in the now? Possibly your higher self, possibly the millionaire version of you. And remember, millionaire you, it's not, maybe you're not a millionaire right now. That's totally cool. It's no drama. It's about having that future-based mindset. And it's not necessary that you have to be money-driven. And again, we're going to have some money conversations at other times, right? Our money stories, because there's nothing wrong with impact and income at the same time. But if you were showing up now as the highest version of yourself, as the millionaire you, coming from a place of soul, strategy, as well as income and impact, who do you need to be right now so that you can attract the people towards you in your business? And now, what priority would you put on state, vibration, and frequency? All right. What priority would you put on things like state, your own vibration, how you're vibing through the day, and frequency? And would these things, hint, hint, be non-negotiables for you? All right. Let me tell you a little story. Recently, if you head over to my personal profile, I'm on Facebook. You are more than welcome to befriend me. I'm straight up, Sky Hanley, as you know. And lately I've been doing these silly little live videos. And actually, I shouldn't play them down. Let's take the word silly out of there. I've been doing these amazing live videos, right? Let's not diminish our sparkle here. That's not what we're here for. I've been doing these amazing live videos that have been totally just, oh gosh, up-leveling my frequency and my vibe. Like they've just been amazing. And you know what I've been doing is literally just playing an amazing, tune and singing out loud to it and dancing on a live, because why the fuck not? Right. And to be honest with you, that, again, there's so much honesty going around. The reason that I was doing it because I saw somebody else do it and it triggered the fuck out of me. I was like, oh my God, why are they doing that? I don't know that I can watch this. Like, this is a bit weird, or how funny, like, and I'm quite happy to do live videos. But that one, for whatever reason, just kind of sat in this strange place for me. And I thought, you know what? I'm so going to do that, like, because I needed to, because I understand that on the other side of our fears and our triggers, right, like, is where all the magic happens. And so I did my first one. And let me tell you, I was nervous, which again is not something that it was nice to almost sit in nerves again, because I'm not often a nervous kind of a human. So I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this. This is going to be weird. And I sung to The Greatest Showman, like, this is me, like, as that kind of declaration. And as soon as I got off, I was like so lit up and so in flow and turned on at a soul level. I was just like, yes, when the fuck am I doing this again? Like, how awesome was that? Like, it was so much fun, right? So that is the level of state, of flow, of vibration, right? Frequency that we want to be showing up in, like that, totally switched on at a soul level, lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. And if you can bring that amount of light, of joy, of play into every single day and everything that you do in business and life and relationships, and it's all intertwined, right? Like, what quality of life would you have then? So I don't know what the thing is for you. Maybe it's, putting on an amazing piece of music that you love and dancing or singing out loud to it, or whatever that looks like. But, if you were showing up as the highest version of yourself, would you have things like state, vibration, frequency as non-negotiables? Now, next question is, how would I start my day powerfully? How would I start my day powerfully? What would that look like? Does it look like frantically running around, getting everybody's breakfasts, freaking out because your alarm didn't go off, jumping in the car, rushing off to, work or business, or jumping on your phone from the moment that you got up? Like, is that what powerfully showing up to the start of your day looks like? Or maybe, it would look different to that. And if it would look different to that, if it could look different to that, what would that look like to you? Maybe, you get up half an hour earlier before your kids are awake or something like that. And, and you ensure that you sit in meditation, drinking, some cacao or a coffee or tea, whatever lights you up, right? Chilling, visualizing, the success you're going to have that day, cultivating, put your state, your flow, your frequency, right? Putting on earphones and listening to a bit of music that fucking moves you, right? How would you start your day powerfully? And it's going to be different for everyone, right? So I'm just bouncing ideas here. But, I think that sadly, the kind of norm that's out there at the moment is it's busyness. Remember I said, like, if we're in hustle, fight, flight, busyness, like, it's fashionable to be busy. Fuck that. I don't want to be busy. I want to be in flow, right? Even when people ask us, they go, oh, how's business going? And you go, oh yeah, really busy at the moment. Like, the universe likes to give us, that which we are putting out there, right? And so if we are saying, oh yeah, it's really busy, we're going to call in more burnout and overwhelm and busyness, right? So if somebody says to you, how's business going? Go, yeah, like, I'm in such a state of flow at the moment. It's awesome. Isn't that a more powerful answer, right? Don't you want to call in more flow? So answer your questions like that and start your day in a powerful fashion, right? Where vibe and frequency and your state are non-negotiables for you. How would you show up, period? How would you show up, right? Simple question. How would you show up? And I don't mean in the car or I'd walk down the street. How would you show up? Would you show up from a place of confidence, courageousness, compassion? We're going with 3 C's here, whatever, that's fine, let's go with it. Or would you be showing up in fear and making decisions from scarcity and old paradigm thinking, or sales from a place of manipulation instead of sales from a place of, of joy, of servitude, of impact? How would you show up? There's this saying that changed my life. And when you listen to the podcast, on my story, let me tell you, the saying that changed my life is, our lives will only expand in proportion to how much courage we are willing to have. So for me, my highest value, I pretty much just, I named them: courage and compassion. They are my two highest values, right? That is how I choose to show up in every circumstance. And does that mean that sometimes I am without compassion? Yes, on the odd occasion. I'm human, right? We're here for the full human experience. And just sometimes, do I get scared, or do I not show up with my full courage? Yes, that is real also. Can I come from a place of fear or scarcity? Yes, that happens to us all at every business level, always, right? It is the human experience. But it can also be a choice. We can't always control our first thought, but we can always control our second. So how would you show up? What would that look like to you? And now the last question for today is, what is stopping you from being this person now? What is stopping you from being this person now, from showing up as your higher self now? If you've sat there and you journaled things, maybe you've written down some stuff, conversations that you're no longer going to tolerate, clients that you can say no to. You don't have to say yes out of scarcity, right? Paradigms that you're going to shift, beliefs that don't serve you, ways of turning up powerfully, putting extra effort and energy into things like state and frequency and flow, and valuing that highly above all else. Right? Maybe you've written down some things like that, or at least, at the least thought of some of these things. So what is stopping you from showing up as that person right now? And to be honest with you, if you're being honest with yourself, the answer is probably nothing. You can start showing up courageously. You can start showing up on social media. You can start, taking, I always say, right, that manifestation equals vision plus big motherfucking action. All right. It's like masculine and feminine all over again. Vision, the feminine, we can see it there. It's amazing. I want it, like that future picture, that higher self, that millionaire version of me. I can see it there. But guess what? To manifest that in the now means that you need to take big motherfucking action. Manifestation equals big motherfucking action. Vision plus big motherfucking action, right? It can't be just one. It's both. So what is stopping you from being that person right now? Thank you, amazing universal being, for listening to this podcast today. I trust that you received the gold you needed to hear right now to help move you forward in business and in life. Remember, everything is a mirror, and you either live in a chaotic universe or an abundant one. The choice is actually yours. If you have loved this podcast, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then share this magic transmission with a friend or loved one, another goddess who is in business and in need of a dose of strategy that is soul aligned. Now, if you want to continue the conversation, there are actually a few places you can go. Head over to our YouTube channel, Business Unleashed, and hit subscribe. Befriend me on Facebook, Sky Hanley. I love making new friends, so please reach out. And we have an amazing and impactful Facebook community group called Goddess Business Unleashed for all things woo-woo and business. Goddess Business Unleashed, the podcast. Strategy that is soul aligned.